Alright, I am going to make some donuts today. If there's one thing my town does not have, it is donuts. They just don't exist. You are not going to find one. And it's really crazy. A few years ago, I went around looking for donuts. And I could not find a single solitary donut anywhere. I looked everywhere for a donut. They just did not exist. You could get those nasty ones that come in the bag. I forget what they're called. Those nasty little donut holes that you can get at the grocery. Or you could get the ones at the gas station that everybody's touched and breathed on. But there were no fresh donuts anywhere. So I looked everywhere for fresh donuts and could not find any. And then I found a bakery. Probably 6 months before the Big P really truly ended, I found a bakery had just opened in town. Except the problem was they just opened 2 years ago. And 2 weeks before I found them, they decided that they should close because they were on the main drag and they didn't have any customers. Keep in mind this, they opened about 2 to 3 months after the Big P started, and they closed 6 months before the Big P ended. Not kidding. And they were pissing and moaning about it. Nobody's showing up. Nobody's showing up. Well, buddy, you didn't give anybody a chance to show up. I mean, what did you expect? So, yeah, that was the only bakery in town, and they didn't make it because their timing was completely wrong. Today I'm going to make some donuts. Because that's the only way you get donuts in my town is if you make them yourself. And this calls for 3 egg yolks. So I've got 2 so far. I've got 2 egg yolks so far. I need 1 more. So I'm going to test this. And what I do is I put them in water. And if they float, they're bad. If they don't float, they're all right. But there are sort of degrees to that. If they're flat, they're great. If they're like this, they're getting old. If they're like this, and if they rise up and touch the top, they're bad news. And of course, there's the smell test and everything else. And these don't smell bad. They don't look bad. It's just a matter of getting them clean because they're filthy. Alright, so I think I got my 3 egg yolks finally. So yeah, it is tough to get donuts in this town. You pretty much have to make them yourself. So that is what I am doing. I need 2 tablespoons of water, I think, and plus 1 cup of milk. So 2 tablespoons of water is easy enough. A cup of milk's a little harder. And I need 1 cup of milk is 8 ounces, so I need 8 ounces of milk. Couldn't have got any more perfect with that one. So I will show you what all of this looks like. There's my 8 ounces of milk. Here's my 3 egg yolks. And the milk has to go in the skillet with the water. Because it has to be warm. And then plus that I need 2 ounces of butter. But as we all know, I don't have butter, I have margarine. But basically I need 2 ounces of oil. So let's see what I've got as far as the 2 ounces of oil. I got a little bit of butter here. Or, not butter, margarine. What did I just get done saying? So we'll see how much margarine. We got 2 ounces. That is 0.7. So I'll get a little bit more. I had to buy butter while I was at the store too, because I was really unsure about how the weather was going to go this week. So that is 1.2, 1.5, 2, 1.9, whatever. Sometimes you can only get close to it. So there's 1.9 of butter, and I'm going to put this in to melt. Because it says room temperature, but honestly, it can be melty. Yeah, so I don't really make donuts all that often. The last time I had a donut was 2017, and I was on my way to my grandma's funeral. And we didn't even know the place we stopped was a bakery. It said cafe. So we thought we could get breakfast. Nope. It was a donut shop with a bad name. So I ended up getting donuts, and we ended up going somewhere else so that my dad could get breakfast, a proper breakfast. Yeah, so it's crazy. In fact, I'm not even sure my dad got a good breakfast that day. I think we ended up stopping at like Steak and Shake, and he got like a breakfast burrito or something. Yeah, so that's another thing that's hard to find in this area. Breakfast. Where the hell is breakfast? No donuts, no bakery, no breakfast. You know, it's pretty tough stuff. But my milk is warm. So I'm going to take this off the fire. And I need to see what else I need. I think I need 3 cups of flour. 3 1/4 cups of flour. So that's 360, 390. 390 grams of flour. So let's do that. 390 grams of flour. It's just barely going to fit in the bowl. That is 393. Oh, I need to keep the flour out. I was going to put it up. Sugar and salt. Sugar and salt. There's the salt. I'm going to put the sugar in the milk and butter recipe. It's, I think it's 2 tablespoons. Yep, 2 tablespoons, but, and I need, is it 2 teaspoons of yeast, I think. Yep, 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. So almost a tablespoon of yeast. So, this is probably still too hot to put any yeast in. If your milk is too warm, you'll kill your yeast. I don't have a, what do you call it? A thermometer that you can test your temperature with. So what it's saying is it wants you to proof your yeast. It's still too hot. So I'm going to have to give this a few minutes to cool off. Because if your liquid is too hot, you will kill the yeast. So I'll be back in a few. So if this is ready to go, I want to measure my yeast. 2 teaspoons. It's slightly less than 15. 15 is a tablespoon, so it's the same 10 grams I always put in. Is that right? Yeah, it's fine. 10 grams of this yeast. Yep, that'll do it. Stir this around just a little bit. And the goal is to let it proof for 3 or 4 minutes, so I'll be back in a few. Alright, so that looks pretty good. It's been 2 or 3 minutes. I ran back to my computer room to answer some comments, which is great, something to do on a cold, snowy day. I appreciate everyone's comments, I always do. So let's see what's next. After we proof the yeast, we add all of the other ingredients. So that would be all of the flour and salt, and the eggs. And it's okay if you break your egg yolks because they'll get broken anyway. And then you want to stir it all together, and I'm going to put on a pair of gloves to mix this. And I'm going to mix it in my pan, but I also need the pan to fry the donuts in. Alright, so I'm just going to mix this up, and I have super cleaned my lower table, so that's where we'll do the bulk of the donut preparations. And I'm just going to stir this. I bet my hand is in the way. Let me see here. It doesn't matter what hand I use, to be quite honest. I'm better with my right hand, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so try to get this all mixed up. While I make a wonderful mess on my scale, because that's what I'm mixing this on, is my scale. The scale doesn't care what I mix it on, or if I mix anything on it. This is why I'm wearing gloves. What a mess. I feel like I need more flour, because this is really, really sticky. It's not supposed to be this sticky. But the good thing about gloves is I can take off the glove and go get some more flour. This shouldn't be this sticky. We're gonna add some more flour. Come on. Well, it's being awful. Of course. There we go. All right, so this is really, 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 really sticky. Okay, I think I'm getting there. This is crazy. This should not be this sticky. Somebody's got their ingredients very, very wrong. I'm going to put some flour on the table. The table's clean. I'm going to turn this out onto the table because it just shouldn't be this. Well, that sucked. It just shouldn't be as sticky as it is. And I don't think I'll be able to move the camera for a minute because this is just so sticky. I don't even know how to grab the stinking stuff so that I can get it on the lower thing. It's just... it just shouldn't be this sticky. Alright, so now it's doing better now that I added like 3 cups more flour to it. It's supposed to be a very soft dough, but it's not supposed to be super, super sticky like it was. I'm glad I put on the gloves because this would be a nightmare to clean off your skin. And in theory, this is supposed to make 18 donuts. I'm not buying it. I don't think it's going to make 18 donuts. Let's see what directions say. All right, so it's supposed to rise 1 to 2 hours in a warm area. Now that's going to be difficult in this kitchen. But here's what the dough looks like after I got done working with it. Let's see if I can get any more of this out of here. So it's supposed to rise, so I'm going to put it back in the pan and cover it. And I guess I'm going to maybe put some foil over it. And maybe let it rise on the stove. And, all right. And I'll go ahead and turn the stove off. So I'm going to let it rise for a little bit. And, okay, so it's going to rise on the stove. And I'll be back in a few. All right, it is the second part of putting the biscuits together. This is where you roll them out and you cut them out. It doesn't tell you how flat to roll them out. So 1/2 inches, so 1/2 inch. There's a bunch of dough that isn't going to be used. So the goal was to let it double in size. It has. So then to pull it all. And we want to press it out until it's about 1/2 inch thick. Supposedly it's going to make 18 donuts. So that's 12.5. All right, I think that's good. And I have a biscuit cutter here, so I don't want it to be too flat. Let's see what it is. That is, it's probably just about right. I mean, it's not all the way perfect, but it doesn't really have to be. And I don't have a donut hole maker. Normally I would use like a soda lid or something like that, but soda's gotten too expensive, or really everything else has gotten too expensive. So I don't have any soda caps or anything that would make a donut hole, so they're not there. These are going to be holeless donuts, as far as I can tell. Well, you know what? I might be able to wash a spice cap, maybe. Nah, I don't know. I don't think so. Roll this out just a little bit. Well, that's a little thicker than it needs to be, but yeah, whatever. So my donuts are not going to be terribly uniform. There's that one. This one is a little too thick. So I'm going to squish it down a little more. It's a little better. And we'll knead this back together. I don't think I'm going to end up with 18. I think they were being a little too optimistic there. There's a donut. And I doubt I'm going to get another donut out of this. No, there's no way I'm going to get another donut out of that. Nope. So I ended up with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 donuts. I didn't even end up with a dozen donuts. So 11 donuts. Some of these are going to be thicker than others. So they're supposed to proof again. So they can do that while I wash the skillet, because it is going to take me forever to wash that skillet. Well, there's no reason not to fry that one, but I really only got 11 donuts out of it. Alright, now it is time to try and clean this skillet so I can fry the donuts. Might be able to use the lid off of the nutmeg. I think this will work. I'll have to wash it so I can actually use the lid off of the nutmeg to cut the donut holes, and then I'll wash the lid again and put it back on the nutmeg. If you're going to use a spice lid, don't use a lid that from a spicy thing like pepper or something like that. But there we go. So I will have some donut holes. And then these will proof. I'm washing my skillet right now. Oops. If I were going to stuff these, I would not make donut holes out of them, but I don't know where my kit is that I could use to stuff them. So, stuffed donuts for another day. I can even punch a hole out of this little bitty donut. Alright, I'm just waiting for these to rise while I wait for my skillet. So there's all my little donuts. And I'm just going to wait for my nutmeg lid to dry, and I'll stick it back on the nutmeg. So I'm going to clean this skillet and wait for these donuts to rise, and then we'll fry them. Alright, so I am ready to start making the donuts, or start frying them anyway. I'm going to go ahead and put in a donut hole. See if it starts going. Yep, that grease is hot enough. So the good news about donut holes is you can make a lot of them at once. You don't have to wait. Oh, that was not good. You really don't want to splash oil all over everything because oil is flammable. I'll be cleaning this stove up before I take a shower tonight, because I can't have oil like that on the stove. Alright, probably all the donut holes I can put in there for right now. Been working on my bike too. Boy, that bike, it just, you put it together, you ride it, you put it back together, you ride it, you put it back together. It's really crazy to get the donuts out with. Gosh. Well, the one thing I'm going to need before the end of next week is probably some more paper towels. I have the reusable paper towels, but for some things, the paper really does a little bit better. So let's take a look at the donut holes. Hopefully they'll puff up and be tasty. I have a deep fryer, but I keep forgetting to buy enough oil for the deep fryer. I seem to only be able to buy one thing of oil, and to do the deep fryer, I need 2. I should go look up how much donuts are. I'm going to go do that. Alright, so I guess just basic donuts you can get for anywhere from about $7 to about $16. I didn't look up donut holes, but it looks like a dozen just regular donuts. It'd be somewhere between $7 and $16. The $7 was from Walmart. So I guess if you're getting your donuts at Walmart, probably cheaper to go ahead and get them there than it would be to make them yourself. But if you're getting them at like Krispy Kreme or someplace that charges, $1.50 to $2 a donut, you're probably better off going ahead and making your own. These cost me, I don't know, we'll say $3 for milk, $4 for the flour, butter was $1.50, oil was $5. Alright, my butt is really eager to make its presence known. I've been eating beanie weenies. Except I made beanie weenies with chili beans, spicy chili beans. My butt just can't stop talking about how much it loved those beanie weenies and chili beans. Boy, these are some big donut holes. Hopes that they don't fall off my fork. These donut holes are about as big as some people's donuts. Alright, show you the size of these donut holes. These are the donut holes. Crazy. Alright, I gotta throw some more donut holes in there and maybe a couple of actual donuts. I'm getting a good color on them, I'm surprised. I got 5 more donut holes. 7, yep, that's right, 5 more donut holes. So yeah, this wouldn't always say be cheaper than buying them. But, alright, I washed another fork. I'm going to go ahead and make some glaze while I'm waiting on my donuts. Because I got some powdered sugar the other day, so let's turn it around. There's my bowl. I need some butter. Is it out already, or did I put it up? I think I put it up. So we need a little bit of butter. Not much. Make sure my fork is clean. It's not exactly the brightest day out there today. Alright, so I need a little bit of butter. We'll say that much butter. And this is margarine, but that's all I've got. I need margarine, I need milk, I need some vanilla. It's going to be vanilla icing because I'm not going to be able to melt the chocolate. Because my skillet is doing what it's doing. Alright, so once you have your vanilla and butter in the thing, you're going to get some powdered sugar. And the easiest, cheapest way to make glaze is to literally combine water and powdered sugar. And I hate that type of glaze. It is nasty. So, I don't make that kind of glaze. Now, I've made it for... I used to work as a baker, so I made it for the bakery, but I'm not going to eat it. I gotta keep an eye on my donuts while I'm making my glaze. It's getting late. I started this project about 2 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock, so if you're going to make donuts... you might want to start them the night before. But to do the glaze, you just squish down the butter and mix it in with the vanilla and the powdered sugar. And since we want this for donuts, it doesn't need to be real thick. We're not making, cupcake icing out of this, where it's got to be super, super thick. And that's kind of what the milk is for, is to thin it all down once it's all mixed up real good. I have to keep an eye on my donuts or they're going to overcook. Not that they're not delicious. I mean, you really have to burn a donut to, burn it badly in order for it to be awful. So, I'm just mixing up my powdered sugar and margarine and vanilla. That's what it looks like. So that's good. I gotta wipe this off because I spilled powdered sugar all over it. I'm gonna add some milk. Because like I said, it just doesn't need to be real thick. This is for donuts. Yep, this is about right. It's going to be a little bit lumpy. It just is what it is. Yep, there it is. Let's say that's perfect. And the question really is, did I make enough of it? I have no idea. The donuts themselves are easier to pull out of the pan than the donut holes, for obvious reasons. I have 6 more donuts to make, and I'll be done. Alright, let me find a donut hole. See? Well, it's a little bit thin. There we go. That's a little bit thin, actually. Good donut, though. I guess I better turn my donuts over. Okay. Well, this ought to be a little bit better. Okay. Now, let's see what we got. Now, that's better. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. That is good. I haven't had a donut in years. Oh, let me try you. Let me make sure my other donuts aren't burning. No, they're not burning. Look at that one. Wow, folks. If you've never made your own donuts, you should probably try it one time. Even if you get your donuts at Walmart, they're fantastic when you make them from scratch. I'm making my last 3 donuts right now. Okay, so let's see what this one's doing. Oh yeah, there we go, right there. I'm not sharing these, so I can dunk them in the icing as much as I want. Try one of these fluffy ones. Check that out. Oh man, it's even better warm. You know, I kind of feel like, you ever watch The Simpsons? You know how Homer, he decides he's going to be a food critic? I got icing on me. Homer decides he's going to be a food critic. So he goes to all these restaurants and reviews them. And of course, he loves everything that he eats. So then all of Springfield starts going to the restaurants. And after a while, you see the citizens of Springfield start packing on the pounds. Yeah, so I'm kind of feeling like that. Because everything I make, I'm like, this is delicious. That's delicious. Everything's delicious. I'm going to have a nice breakfast tomorrow. I know that much. My last 3 donuts are done. I've already turned off the fire. The grease is hot enough to finish cooking them. I don't know. These might be better than the last actual donut I ever had. The donuts that I bought several years ago, or that I ate several years ago, were too sweet. Now I'm going to put these up and probably clean the stove, clean off the bottom counter, and take a shower. But there's my stack of donuts. I'm going to put those up. Guess I need to... Oh, battery too low to use flashlight. Flash. Oops. Well, there's my donuts. There's my glaze. And I'm just going to put this stuff up and clean up the kitchen. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.